Chapter 1, 1938 to 1939. Arrival and Humanity Embraces Superman. It was a warm June evening in 1938 when the sky over North America lit up with a brilliant streak of fire. People in nearby towns and villages gasped as a blazing object hurtled through the heavens, leaving a glowing trail in its wake. Farmers paused in their fields, children pointed skyward, and radios buzzed with reports of the mysterious celestial event. The object crashed into an open field, sending a plume of dust and light into the air. Jonathan and Martha Kent, a humble farming couple, were the first to arrive at the site. What they found was astonishing, a gleaming alien pod unlike anything they'd ever seen. Inside was a youngster, a boy, wrapped in a red cloth bearing an unfamiliar symbol. His bright, inquisitive eyes scanned the couple as if he already understood them. The Kents adopted the child and named him Clark. Within weeks, they began noticing extraordinary things about him, like his growth rate, his strength. Clark was lifting bales of hay and outrunning the farm's fastest horses. One day, while playing in the barn, he accidentally crushed a steel hammer in his small hands. Jonathan and Martha realized their adopted son was no ordinary boy. Clark's powers grew as he did. Though the Kents tried to teach him discretion, they also instilled in him a deep sense of morality. "Your abilities are a gift, Clark," Martha would say. "You can use them to help others, to make the world better." In 1938, Clark flew for the first time from Smallville to Metropolis, a city buzzing with life but struggling under the weight of the Great Depression. Unemployment and despair loomed large, but Clark felt a pull to make a difference. After donning a suit designed by Martha from the cloth in his pod, he debuted as the Red-Blue Blur only after crash landing in the middle of the city due to a lack of flight training, a name given to him by an ambitious reporter for the Daily Planet. His first act of heroism came when he stopped a collapsing bridge from plunging hundreds of cars into the river below. News of his deeds spread like wildfire, and soon humanity had a new beacon of hope. Superman, not just a name, it was a promise of better days. In late 1938, Superman addressed the world through a live radio broadcast. He called for unity, urging nations to set aside their differences and work together. His words resonated deeply. "We are stronger together than apart," he declared. "Let us build a world where no one is left behind." By 1939, Superman had become a global figure. He collaborated with scientists to rebuild struggling economies, modernize infrastructure, and introduce efficient techniques in farming and renewable energy sources. Superman's influence began to ripple outward, fostering a sense of global solidarity. Nations formed alliances to share resources and knowledge, planting the seeds for unprecedented cooperation. Chapter 2, 1940 to 1949, a decade of transformation. As the world entered the 1940s, global tensions reached a breaking point. World War II erupted, threatening to engulf humanity in chaos. Superman initially maintained a stance of neutrality, adhering to the principle that he should not favor one nation over another. However, his focus on saving lives transcended borders. Superman's humanitarian efforts were unmatched. He shielded civilians, rescued prisoners of war, and delivered aid to devastated areas. His actions created an informal truce in many war zones, with soldiers pausing their battles to allow him to evacuate the wounded. By 1942, Superman could no longer ignore the atrocities being committed. He confronted world leaders, urging them to abandon destructive weapons and negotiate peace. His presence became a symbol of accountability, forcing leaders to act with greater transparency. Superman also worked closely with scientists like Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla, accelerating advancements in technology. The war ended sooner than expected in 1944, sparing millions of lives. After the war, Superman turned his focus to rebuilding. His ability to move mountains literally helped restore devastated regions. His tireless work inspired millions to volunteer for reconstruction efforts. Superman also spearheaded initiatives to ensure that such destruction would never occur again. He supported the formation of a global council, the precursor to a unified world government. Nations began to disarm, shifting their resources toward education, healthcare, and sustainable development. In 1945, the United Nations was officially established, with Superman as its honorary ambassador. His message of peace and cooperation resonated deeply, leading to the creation of global programs to address poverty, disease, and environmental degradation. The late 1940s saw a surge in scientific breakthroughs, thanks in part to Superman's collaborations with the brightest minds of the era. Renewable energy became widespread, nuclear technology was repurposed for peaceful applications, and the first underwater cities were conceptualized. By 1949, the world had transformed. The scars of war were healed, and humanity was united in ways never before seen. Superman's presence continued to inspire people to strive for greatness. Superman's efforts were not just about strength, but about showing humanity what it could achieve when it worked together. This decade of transformation laid the groundwork for the extraordinary advancements to come. Chapter 3, 1950 to 1959. The Dawn of Exploration. The 1950s marked the beginning of a new era of unity. Superman's influence had fostered unprecedented cooperation among nations. Borders became less significant as the Global Peace Accord of 1951 was signed, formalizing a commitment to global unity and mutual aid. Education systems underwent a renaissance as global knowledge sharing became the norm. Advanced learning centers were established worldwide, offering free education powered by Kryptonian-inspired AI technology. With war no longer consuming resources, humanity turned its attention to exploration, beginning with Earth's oceans. Superman, fascinated by the mysteries of Earth's depths, led expeditions to explore the uncharted underwater realms. The Atlantis Initiative was born in 1953, aiming to create self-sustaining underwater cities. By the end of the decade, several prototype facilities were operational, paving the way for human habitation in the deep sea. Humanity's gaze turned skyward as Superman shared Kryptonian star charts with Earth's scientists. The development of reusable spacecraft inspired by his insights accelerated space exploration. The Space Initiative of 1955 was launched, prioritizing lunar exploration. With Superman's assistance, the first human-crewed lunar landing occurred in 1958, decades ahead of its historical schedule. In addition to his global contributions, Superman dedicated time to inspire future generations. He frequently visited schools, teaching children about science, teamwork, and empathy. His presence instilled a sense of hope and responsibility in young minds. Superman's collaboration with scientists led to the widespread adoption of clean energy. Solar, wind, and geothermal power plants replaced fossil fuels. Kryptonian technology enabled near-limitless energy production, revolutionizing industries and eradicating energy poverty. The 1950s also saw a flourishing of art, literature, and music. Superman became a symbol of human potential, inspiring creators across the globe. The cultural exchange between nations enriched global traditions, blending old and new in ways never before imagined. Despite his monumental contributions, Superman occasionally grappled with his solitude. He remained an alien on Earth, yearning for a connection to his lost Kryptonian heritage. However, his growing bond with humanity gave him purpose and a sense of belonging. By the end of the 1950s, humanity stood on the brink of a new golden age. With Superman's guidance, humanity had conquered its inner conflicts and began to explore both the depths of the oceans and the vastness of space. The possibilities seemed limitless.